Hello and welcome back to the channel. On today's tutorial, I'm going to be sharing with you how to make this simple corset dress or three-part corset dress with a ruffle sleeve. So if this is something you like, please don't forget to hit on the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and if you haven't yet seen the drafting video, please go down to my YouTube channel. So first, here is my pattern and I've gone ahead to place it on my material and I went ahead to cut it out. So I added 1/2 inch round and we're going to start with the cup. So I'm going to go ahead to open up my cup. So watch the way I'm opening up my cup, and on my lining piece I went ahead to iron gum stay to the lining piece. So I used the same Ankara fabric for my cup. So actually I didn't iron the material, but I'll go ahead to iron it out later. So I'm just going to go ahead to place and I'll join, and whatever I'm doing to this piece, go ahead to also do it to your lining of the dress, the lining of the dress. So I've gone ahead to join it and this is what I have. So next we are going to go ahead to also join the fabric of the dress, sorry, the upper part of the cup, and here you see I added 1/2 inch round it also. So also do that on the lining piece. On the lining piece I ironed gum stay on it. So on your cup piece you can go ahead to iron an interfacing on it. It solely depends on you. So now I'm going to take the center of this cup, place it at that joining at the center, stitch with 1/2 inch and also stitch at the other end. So I'll also be repeating this at the other cup and the lining also. So here I've gone ahead to iron out my cup and this is what I have. So also this is the lining piece, and on my main fabric this is what I have. So I'm using an already made cup. So at first I went ahead to stitch down the cup on my fabric, but on a second thought I decided to show you a simple method of using your bra cup. But before then I went ahead to insert a dart, which is about 3 inches the depth, and you have to pick like 1/2 inch at the center of your cup. So this is what I have. Also repeat this at the other side of your cup. So now this method you can also use it especially when you're making a corset for someone that has a big bust, or when your corset cup is a bit bigger than your already made cup. So with this method we'll be adding a wadding or a bra foam on your cup. So you can decide to use a thick wadding, a light wadding, or a bra cup. So you're going to place it this way and you're going to measure out the remaining piece and you're going to go ahead to cut it out. So now this is what I have, and we are going to iron this on the main material. So I'm using a light wadding for this. All you have to do is to measure the amount you need to fill up your cup. So I'm going to place it on top this way and I'm going to go ahead to top stitch. So make sure the side that is facing you, the right side of the cup, is the shiny part. So after I'm done attaching this is what I have. I just went ahead to just cut out a straight wadding on it and I top stitched on it. So now you're going to go ahead to iron your cup. You're going to attach your already made cup to your main fabric and you need the help of a hemming gum to do this. So go ahead to place your hemming gum this way and you're going to place your cup on it. Make sure the fabric is sitting at the center. So after that you're going to go ahead to use your iron and your tailor's ham to iron this. So if you don't have a tailor's ham, I have a video on how to make one. So after I'm done ironing, this is what I have. So I don't have any source of lights out here, so I had to iron it inside. So I'm using a light wadding, so I can just go ahead and use my cup that way without trimming out 1/2 inch on top. So I'll take out the excess hemming gum and I'll repeat this on the other cup also. So when you stitch your cup to your dress, you notice the upper part will be very firm. So after this I went ahead to pick up the center of the pattern, that is the body, and I went ahead to add 1/2 inch on top at the lower part and on the cup side. So on the lining piece I ironed gum stay on it. So now it's time to attach our cup and I'll fold this over and I'll notch the center. Go ahead and repeat this at the other side. Go ahead to also notch it this way. So after I'm done notching it, I'm just going to go ahead to attach my cup. To attach your cup, you're going to place this at the center and also at the center of your ready-made cup, and you're going to go ahead to pin it all the way down. So go ahead and use your pin to pin it down. So with this way, it's easier for you to sew your corset, especially for a beginner. And also, if the body of your corset does not match with your cup, you can go ahead to notch the body. That way it's going to relax. So mine is matching, and after pinning it, I'll go ahead and stitch with 1/2 inch at the lower part of my corset. And make sure that you pin with, that way is easier for you to stitch your cup. And you notice that the upper part of my cup is firm. So after I'm done stitching, this is what I have, and I'll go ahead to stitch the other side of my cup also. And to stitch my cup, I'm going to go ahead to work with my pin just the same way I did for the other side. I'll go ahead to pin it all the way down. After pinning, you're going to go ahead and stitch it with 1/2 inch on the sewing machine. So after I'm done stitching, this is what I have. I'll go ahead to use my tailor's ham and I'll iron this out. After ironing this side, I'll go ahead to iron the other side and also the body of the corset. So after I'm done ironing it out, this is what I have. And also on the lining parts, I also went ahead to join my cup just the same way I did. So now I placed my cup and I'm going to notch the center of my cup. This is to attach the sleeve of the dress. So I went ahead to make these little straps, and I'll go ahead to place it and top stitch. So you can decide to make yours bigger, but I just want mine to be smaller this way before I attach the ruffle on it. So after I'm done doing that, I'm just going to go ahead to use my cup, the lining part, to turn the main fabric. Now I'm going to place it, and I'm just going to pin the upper part of this corset first. I'm happy that say everything I do is for my woman. Anything I talk, where you talk, I go do. Me, I know they see another girl for my visuals. Loving you, now in my ritual. So after this, I'll go ahead to stitch the upper part of my cup together, joining the lining to the main fabric. So this is what I have. And now you're going to flip it to the wrong side, then take all the 1/2 inch that you use in joining, that is the sewing allowance on top, go ahead and top stitch it to the lining part of this dress. So I'll go ahead and after I'm done stitching, this is what I have, and I went ahead to also stitch the sides of my cup. So now we're going to go ahead to create the boning channels. You're going to go ahead to mark the areas you want your boning channels on the dress. So I want to mark on the center, and by the side I'm going to be marking 2 boning channels. So I'll also go ahead to repeat this at the other side, and I will mark about 2 boning channels, which is about half inch. So I'll go ahead and stitch on it. So after I'm done stitching on it, I don't know if the thread is visible, I went ahead to also iron it out. You're going to go ahead to insert boning to your boning channels. So I'll go ahead and I'll pass boning through my boning channels that I have created, and this is what I have. So after this, we're going to go ahead to work on the skirt. So here's the skirt pattern I cut out, and on the lining I took out few inches from it to create a turn-up allowance. So I'll stitch the lining together with the skirt, and after I'm done stitching it down, I'm going to flip my skirt up this way, and it's going to match with the lining. So you can take out about 1.5, 2 inches or 2.5 from your lining just to create a turn-up effect on your skirt. So I'll go ahead and stitch this down, and I'll also repeat this on the back pattern of my skirts. After this, the next step is to join your skirt with the lower part. So I'll go ahead and place it this way, and I'll be stitching it down with 1/2 inch. So now we'll be moving over to the back pattern of the dress. So this is the back pattern, and on each part of the lining I went ahead to iron gum stay on it. So I'll use 1/2 inch to join the lining to the main fabric. So after I'm done joining it, this is what I have. So I went ahead to flip the other side, and on the other side this is what I have. So if you flip it, you'll be having the same result. So I went ahead to make little straps of fabric that I'll be using to create my lacing bar area. So I measured about 2.5 or 3 inches. Go ahead to cut it, and you'll be cutting as many as you want for your lacing bar area. So after you're done cutting out, you're going to open your pattern this way. Go ahead to place it on it at the beginning point, and you will pin. So after that, you can decide the space interval you want. So I'm using about 1 inch, and after measuring about 1 inch, I'm going to place and pin. So go ahead to repeat that on the other side of your pattern, or the other side of your dress, sorry, and I'll continue pinning this till I get to the end. So after you're done pinning, the next thing is you're going to flip the lining over this way. Go ahead to run a stitch and on the side. So after that, I'll be creating boning channels at the center and immediately after the lacing bar area. So this is my back pattern, and this is what I have. So I'll be passing boning through the lacing bar, sorry, the boning channels that I made. So just like I said, I made a boning channel immediately after the lacing bar area, and after that I created another lacing bar almost at the center at the pattern. This is to make sure that the back pattern is relaxed when you're lacing your dress. It doesn't pop up or give you that bulgy effect. So to join your skirt to the upper part, so you're going to measure about 1 inch, which is your zipper allowance. So after measuring that 1 inch, remember when we were cutting this pattern, we took out 1.5 inches for the lacing bar area. So you're going to also take that in mind. Sorry, you're going to have that in mind. Go ahead to stitch it. So if you don't understand, I'm going to be showing you after I'm done joining. I'll go ahead to stitch the lower part, and I'll attach zip to the dress. So this is it. I've gone ahead to attach zip to the dress, and just like I said, immediately after your zipper allowance, we used about 1 inch for our zipper allowance. Attach your zip. So this is the 1.5 inches we left when we were creating our lacing bar. Make sure you take note of that. If you took more than 1.5 inches, you're going to also measure that same space. Now I'm going to go ahead to join my dress together. Now I'll place the right side facing the right side, and I'll go ahead to pin it down. So now to take the measurement of the dress, I will start at the under bust. I'll place my tape. So my under bust is 12. So after marking my under bust, I'm going to take my tape and place, and I'll get my bust. My bust is 9 inches. So I'll go ahead to mark. After that, I'll place back my tape, and I'm going to mark my waistline. My waistline is about 17 inches. Go ahead to mark. So after marking my waistline of 17 inches, I'm going to measure about 7 inches down to mark my hip point. So if you're a much taller person, go ahead to use 8 inches. So after marking this, I'll be inserting my measurement. Now at the bust, my bust circumference is 33 divided by 2. So you can just go ahead to mark your measurement, but to make sure that I explain, I'm going to place my tape, and I'm going to measure what I have all the way on my bust. So what I have on the bust is about 19.5 inches, and my bust circumference is 33 divided by 2. I have 16 and a half. So sorry, 19 and a half minus 16 and a half, I have 3 inches left. So I will be sharing that 3 inches into 2, which will give me about 1.5 inches on both sides. Now at the under bust, I'm going to go ahead to place, and what I have at the under bust is about 18 and a half, and my under bust circumference is 28 divided by 2, I have 14. So that 18 and a half, I'll minus 14 inches from it. So whatever I have left, I'm going to divide it into 2, just like we did for the upper part, and I'll mark. So for the waistline, I have 16 inches. My waist circumference is 28. 28 divided by 2, I have 14. So I'll do 16 minus 14. That will give me 2 inches. So I'll be sharing half inch on both, sorry, 1 inch on both sides, and I'll go ahead to mark. Now on the hip, I will go ahead to mark my hip circumference. So after marking that, I'll go ahead to connect my dress. So at the lower part, I'll go ahead and measure about 1.5 inches on both sides, connect it, and I'll do so at the other side. So after I'm done connecting, I'm going to go ahead to stitch up my dress, and after stitching that, we'll go over to making the ruffle of the dress. To make the ruffle of the dress, I went ahead to cut out this fabric. So here is about 6.5 inches. So for the length, it totally depends on how long or lengthy you want your ruffle to be. So here I have about 33.5 inches, and I went ahead to cut out the lining, which is exactly this, and I ironed gum stay to make it more stable. So here is the lining, and I ironed gum stay on it. So I'll use it to go ahead to turn it up. So go ahead to place it, stitch the side, and you're going to turn it up from one side and then top stitch on it. So here is it. I've gone ahead to sew it, and I'll be making a ruffle out of this. So you can go ahead to sew a gather stitch on it, or you can just simply use your needle and thread to make a ruffle on it. A ruffle by running a gather stitch. So after stitching, go ahead to tie it at one end, and this is what you're going to have. So after doing this, I'm going to attach it on the strap, that is the spaghetti strap hand I have. So for your strap, you're going to go ahead to measure your armhole circumference times 2. So my armhole circumference is 7 inches times 2, I have 14. So I went ahead to add about 1 inch to it. That's half inch for joining allowance at the front and half inch for joining allowance at the back. So to get your armhole circumference is simply your bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.25. so that is how I got the 7 inches for the front and 7 inches for the back. So adding it together, I have 14. So, and I added 1 inch for it, which I used in joining it to the front, and half inch to join it at the back. So after doing this, you're going to go ahead to pin up the ruffle of your dress, and after pinning it, you're going to top stitch on it. After top stitching on it, you're going to attach the hand with half inch at the back. So I'm going to go over to the sewing machine, and I will repeat this at the back and also do it for the other side. But my ruffle did not get to the end because I didn't cut enough fabric. So but I'll just go ahead and I'll attach this other side and stitch it. So after I'm done sewing, this is what I have. And if you haven't yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, please hit on the subscribe button. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and join us in our next video. Thanks.